Why cats change when they feel safe. There is a version of your cat that many people never truly see, not because it does not exist, but because it only appears under one specific condition. That version of a cat reveals itself when the cat feels safe. For many felines, life begins in a state of quiet caution. Their world is not one of instant trust or easy comfort, but rather a landscape filled with watchful observation, invisible boundaries, and silent estimation about what is safe and what is not. A cat that lives within this delicate state may appear distant, reserved, or even uninterested in human companionship. Yet beneath that quiet distance often lies a very different personality waiting patiently for the right conditions to emerge. When safety becomes part of a cat's environment, something remarkable begins to unfold. The transition does not arrive suddenly, and it rarely presents itself through dramatic moments that are easy to notice. Instead, it appears slowly, almost like a subtle change in the atmosphere of a room. A cat that once stayed hidden may begin spending more time in open spaces. A pair of eyes that once watched the world with constant alertness may soften in quiet ways. Over time, a creature that once kept its distance may begin choosing to sit beside the very humans it once observed so cautiously. Welcome back to CatFactsFunny, where we explore the quiet emotional world that exists behind the mysterious behavior of cats. Today, we will look closely at a fascinating question that many cat owners eventually notice but rarely understand at first. Why do cats seem to change so much once they finally feel safe? The cat built for caution. To understand this transition, we first have to understand the nature of cats themselves. Unlike some animals that evolved to depend heavily on social groups, cats develop their instincts within a world where survival often required independence and constant awareness. In the wild, a cat occupies a delicate position within the food chain. While cats are highly capable predators with sharp reflexes and remarkable hunting skills, they are also small enough to become prey for larger animals. This balance between hunter and hunted has shaped the instincts that still guide domestic cats today. Because of this evolutionary background, a cat's mind is naturally tuned toward caution. Even within the quiet comfort of a home, cats often behave as though they are still navigating a world filled with unknown possibilities. They listen closely to subtle sounds, track movement with careful attention, and maintain a constant awareness of the spaces around them. To a human, a calm living room may feel completely safe and predictable, but to a cat, it can still be a place that requires quiet observation. This instinctive caution explains why many cats initially keep their distance from new people or unfamiliar environments. Their hesitation is not a sign of coldness or rejection. Instead, it reflects a survival system that has been refined over thousands of years. A cautious cat is simply doing what its instincts were designed to do. Observe first, understand the environment, and only then decide whether trust is safe. What safety means to a cat. For a cat, safety is not defined only by the absence of danger. It is created through something much deeper and more subtle: predictability. Cats begin to relax when they learn that their environment behaves in consistent and understandable ways. When footsteps move through the house without sudden aggression, when hands reach toward them with gentle intentions, and when daily routines repeat themselves with calm regularity, a cat slowly begins to build a sense of emotional security. Over time, cats construct a mental map of the spaces they live in. They remember where loud noises tend to happen and where quiet corners provide peaceful rest. They learn which humans move gently and which voices carry calm tones. Each experience becomes a small piece of information that helps the cat decide whether the world around them is trustworthy. When these experiences repeat themselves in positive ways, the cat's internal alarm system gradually lowers its guard. What once required constant vigilance slowly begins to feel familiar and safe. This gradual shift in perception is the foundation for the behavioral changes that many cat owners eventually notice. The first signs of trust. The earliest signs that a cat is beginning to feel safe are often so subtle that they pass unnoticed. A cat that once remained across the room may start choosing a resting place slightly closer to its human companions. The distance may still exist, but the invisible boundary has quietly moved inward. A A cat that previously preferred hidden corners may begin lying down in open spaces where they can still observe their surroundings but no longer feel the need to conceal themselves. Body language also begins to soften. Instead of sitting with tightly controlled posture, the cat may stretch more freely or rest with relaxed limbs. The eyes may blink slowly rather than maintaining a constant watchful stare. These small changes may appear insignificant to human observers, but within the language of feline behavior, they represent an important step forward. What is happening in these moments is the gradual lowering of emotional defenses. The cat is testing the possibility that safety may actually be real, and each calm experience strengthens that belief a little more. When personality begins to appear, once safety becomes a consistent part of a cat's life, something remarkable begins to happen. The cat's personality, which may have remained hidden beneath layers of caution, slowly begins to reveal itself. A naturally playful cat may begin chasing toys with sudden bursts of energy, filling the room with movements that were rarely seen before. A curious cat may start exploring shelves, windows, and quiet corners of the house with growing confidence. Other cats begin to reveal their affectionate nature. Gentle head bumps, soft purring, and quiet moments of companionship may appear where distance once existed. These behaviors are not newly created traits. They were always part of the cat's character, waiting patiently for the moment when it felt safe enough to express them. Safety does not change who a cat is. Instead, it removes the protective layers that once kept their personality hidden from view. Why affection often appears late. Many people who adopt cats notice something surprising months or even years after bringing their pet home. A cat that once seemed distant may suddenly begin seeking affection, choosing to sit nearby or gently pressing their head into a waiting hand. At first, this shift may feel unexpected, but from the cat's perspective, the timing makes perfect sense. Trust for a cat is rarely built through a single moment. It develops slowly through repeated experiences that prove the environment is stable and safe. Each calm interaction adds another layer of reassurance. Each predictable routine strengthens the belief that this home is not a place of danger. Eventually, the cat reaches a quiet conclusion that is deeply meaningful in the language of animal behavior. The world around them is safe enough to relax. Once that realization settles into the cat's mind, affection often appears naturally, as though a hidden door has quietly opened. The quiet language of a safe cat. When a cat truly feels safe, its body language begins to reflect a deep sense of calm. Movements become slower and more relaxed, and the animal often stretches comfortably across the floor or curls into restful positions without constant alertness. A safe cat may sleep deeply in visible spaces rather than retreating to hidden shelters. Many cats also begin following their humans gently from room to room, not out of anxiety but out of quiet companionship. They may sit nearby without asking for attention, simply choosing to remain within the same peaceful environment as the person they trust. These behaviors form a silent language that communicates something profound. A safe cat does not constantly seek reassurance, because reassurance has already become part of their world. The deepest form of cat trust. Perhaps the most meaningful sign that a cat feels safe appears during the simplest moment of all, sleep. When a cat chooses to fall asleep beside a human, especially in a deep and relaxed way, they are expressing a level of trust that is both rare and powerful in the animal kingdom. Sleep is a vulnerable state. Awareness fades, reaction slows, and the body becomes temporarily defenseless. A cat would never willingly enter this state near something it believed to be dangerous. For this reason, a sleeping cat beside you represents more than simple comfort. It represents trust. In that quiet moment, the cat has made a silent decision that the space around them is safe enough to let their guard fall completely. Few expressions of trust are as honest or as profound as that simple act. The transition. The transition that occurs when a cat finally feels safe is rarely dramatic, and it almost never arrives all at once. Instead, it unfolds slowly through countless small moments that quietly reshape the relationship between a cat and the world around them. A closer resting place, a softer gaze, a peaceful nap in the open. Each of these moments represents a step toward trust, and together they form the foundation of a bond that grows stronger over time. When a cat feels safe, something beautiful happens. They stop living only as cautious observers of their environment and begin participating in it fully. Their personality emerges, their confidence grows, and their quiet companionship becomes one of the most rewarding relationships a human can experience. Because in the end, when a cat finally feels safe, they are not simply living in a house anymore. They are home. If you enjoy exploring the quiet emotional world of cats and the subtle behaviors that often go unnoticed, consider subscribing to the channel. New episodes continue to uncover the hidden psychology behind the animals who share our homes.